My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. For days now we have been doing our utmost to imagine the scene in the upper room on that first Easter Sunday. You could hear a pin drop. The apostles, the holy women and others, disoriented, despondent, crushed. There are no words to capture the state of their spirit. Then, in an instant, turmoil, confusion. Cleophas and his companion, still catching their breath, burst into the room and blurted out, "We have seen the Master." They then recounted what had taken place along the road to Emmaus, and how they had come to recognize you, Jesus, in the breaking of bread. In the meantime, the others were holding their heads, trying to make sense out of these astounding words. Then, while they were still speaking about this, you, Lord, stood in their midst and said to them, "Peace be with you." Your eyes were filled with tenderness and not a little amusement. But they were startled and terrified, and thought that they were seeing a ghost. Then you said to them, "Why are you troubled? And why do questions arise in your hearts? Look at my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Touch me and see, because a ghost does not have flesh and bones, as you can see I have." And as you said this, Lord, you showed them your hands and your feet. Saint Josemaria used to say that you were showing your credentials, just as ambassadors do upon arrival in a new posting, in order to show that they really are who they say they are. The apostles, closing their eyes, thought, "This can't be happening. It must be a dream." While they were still incredulous for joy and amazed, you asked them, "Have you anything here to eat?" They gave you a piece of baked fish. You took it and ate it in front of them. Pope Benedict, in his book Jesus of Nazareth, underscores the clumsiness of those in the upper room. After all, they were startled, terrified, incredulous, even as they beheld you, Lord, standing right in front of them. The awkwardness of this scene can be seen as a sign that it really did unfold in this way. Their slowness in accepting the obvious truth of your presence, Jesus, attests to the veracity of this account. If the apostles had wanted to invent the story of the resurrection, they would have come up with a version that did not make them look so bad. They would have emphasized that they had immediately recognized the Lord. Shifting our focus to the here and now, the elation that reigned in the upper room is not just a thing of the past. Jesus, your presence in our lives is truly astounding. Those words of the opening prayer that we say every day never fail to move us. I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. Thank you for the precious gift of faith, which we never want to take for granted. It is especially moving to read of those thunderbolt moments, so to speak, when you burst into the life of someone for the first time. Take, for example, Paul Claudel, a French intellectual who scoffed at faith. On December 25th, 1886, he entered the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris, out of curiosity. Later he would write, "In an instant, something touched my heart, and I believed. I believed with such force, with so much agitation in my being, with so much certainty that there was no place for doubt. Suddenly I thought, how happy are the people who believe? And what if it is true? But it is true. God exists. He is there, He is someone, and He loves me. He calls out to me. Tears and sobs came to me. Returning to the upper room on that first Easter, the Lord's opening greeting was, "Peace be with you." Then He said to them, "Why are you troubled?" Jesus, your presence in my life floods me with peace. It is the greatest antidote to anxiety. So many people are anxious about the future. When we needlessly worry about things that are only a possibility in the future, it can distract us from our present responsibilities. This inner agitation, this lack of interior peace, keeps us from loving the people in our lives as they deserve to be loved. That is certainly the case with you, Lord. A lack of peace can get in the way of loving you as you deserve to be loved. Consider crunch time at work or school. Big deadlines, a classic time to give in to anxiety and to abandon our life of prayer until we get past the crunch. Well, this point from St. Josemaria's furrow can help. Prayer. More prayer. It may seem odd to say that now when you are taking examinations and working harder, but you need prayer. And not only the habitual prayer as an exercise of devotion. You also need to pray during odd moments, to pray between times, instead of allowing your mind to wander on silly things. There is real magic to being fully present to those around us. The dads who are listening should be aware that when they pay special individual attention to one of their young ones, they are creating a lifelong memory. Try this next weekend. Ask one of your children to help you get something at the hardware store. For you, it will simply be a quick trip to the store. But for that child, it will be a very special adventure. Years from now, he or she will tell others, "My dad used to take me to the hardware store. I loved those moments alone with him." A case in point, told by a 70-year-old woman, the third of 6 children, who recently came across the account of an adventure with her father that took place when she was 10 years old. She wrote, "One winter night I was looking out the window at all the snow falling. There was a horrible snowstorm that night. My father walked over and sat down beside me on the couch. My dad had a very gentle personality towards his girls. He lay his hand on my shoulder and began to speak with a soft voice. 'Tessa, why can't you stay my little girl?' 'Because, Dad, we all must grow up sometime.' Don't forget, this is a 10-year-old speaking. 'I will promise you one thing. I will always be your little girl, and no one else's. I will come home to visit you as much as I can, I promise.' My dad looked me straight in the eye and asked, 'How about we go for a walk, just you and me?' 'I would love it,' I screamed happily and jumped off the couch with my eyes wide open and my smile as big as it could get. This was a wonderful thing in my family, because there were 6 children, and hardly ever would just one of us get to spend time with one parent all alone. So my dad and I got all bundled up and ready to go out into the storm. Off we went. I wasn't quite so sure where he had in mind to go. But anyway, I knew that this was going to be a deep memory in my life. We entered the cafe and ordered 2 hot chocolates with extra whipped cream. We sat there for quite a long time and talked about many different things. We talked about my brothers and sisters and events happening in my life. On the way home, I heard my dad say something to himself. 'My little girl is coming home.' I was puzzled the whole walk home. Then, many years later, when I was much older, I realized the love my Father gives to me every minute of my life. Well, let us make a firm resolution. Jesus, you are more fully present for us than we can possibly imagine. We truly want to be fully present to you, basking in your ineffable love. Mary, teach us how to love your divine Son as he deserves to be loved. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help in putting them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.